Hey everyone, this is NHL News Sports, and we're back on the video, and today we have the NHL 2022 draft. This is the review of all the selections from the first round, from 1st to 32nd in the NHL. So, let's get into what we have, who got picked where, and how teams have done in this draft. So, starting off with first overall, as we know, Juraj Slafovsky, the Slovakian player that was picked. Montreal picks him over Shane Wright. Shane Wright or Slafovsky, back and forth. Even Cooley, they put in the mix of it, but really it was between Slafovsky and Wright. And Wright, most of the year, was first overall until end of the season. Things started shift more to Slafovsky, and people still had Wright going to Montreal, but the final pick was Slafovsky. That's what they went for. 6'4", over 200 pounds already, played with men already, played in the Olympics, has 7 goals in 7 games already in the Olympics. I know it is a small sample size, but still, Slafovsky has the size, has the hockey sense, has a great shot, and he shoots the puck. Just tell him to shoot the puck, he'll shoot it. That's what you need. And Slafovsky in the future can play with Suzuki and Caulfield. Just imagine a line between Slafovsky, Nick Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. So there you go. Slafovsky, the big guy, and then you have Suzuki down the middle, the playmaker, and then you have Cole Caulfield, who can snipe the puck, but so can Slafovsky, and also Suzuki can too. So there you go. You have 3 options there for sure. Moving on to number 2, second overall is Simon Nemec. Simon Nemec is the best defenseman in the NHL draft this year. Another Slovakian player right there. 3 in the first round. That's unheard of. But look at that. First and second. You go from to Slafovsky to Nemec. So there you go. Nemec is a great has a great shot from the point, great playmaker from the point, and the Devils need defense too. The Devils didn't need Shane Wright. They have enough down the middle between, Hischier, Jack Hughes, who went first overall in 2019. Hischier went first overall too, as a center, both are centers, and you have Zaka also, who could be traded soon. But they have enough down the middle. They really do. So they needed more on defense, and they have an opportunity here to get Nemec, and I believe he's supposed to play in the AHL next year. They want him in the system. Really good pickup here. Best defenseman in the draft. Now moving on now to the Arizona Coyotes, and they don't go for Wright. They go for Logan Cooley from the National Development Program. Logan Cooley is a dynamic center, offensive. Great shot, very entertaining to watch. And, the Coyotes, I felt, went for Cooley over Wright because the Coyotes are a team going through a rebuild. They're going to be, playing at a university instead of NHL Arena, which, sits 5,000 people for 3 years. So, to bring some tickets, people to watch the Coyotes of a team that has, lacked people wanting to watch the Coyotes, Logan Cooley could bring people to watch him. Entertaining type of guy. If he plays this coming year, or the next year, this guy's going to be really good. It's just Shane Wright's more of a smarter type of player. Cooley's more of an entertaining, offensive, dynamic guy. So, there's a difference, but, they stuck with the guy they got, and they're going with Logan Cooley. Moving on to now the Kraken, and they pick Shane Wright. And I really like this for the Kraken because last year they picked second overall. They picked Matt Peniels, and the games Matt Peniels played at the end of the season, they let him play a couple of games. It was terrific. Absolutely, it was so much fun to watch how he played. And if you have Shane Wright, a top 2 centers between Peniels and Wright is just going to be so good for the Seattle Kraken. They could have went for Nemec. It was a possibility. I know they really liked him, but having Shane Wright, top two, and they're young. What is Benillos, 19, and Wright is 18, your top two future centers, you are good for a long time. Get a good, defenseman. Maybe next year they get a good defenseman or something like that, a solid defenseman there. They are set to go, really. And then it's still, and then build around them. You got a good team in the future for sure. And it's only going to be the second year next year for the Kraken. Moving on to the Philadelphia Flyers, they picked Cutter Gauthier. And Cutter Gauthier is he's more of a physical, gets to the net, gets his, tries to drive to the net type of guy. He has moved up in the NHL draft, second half of the season. But I thought the Flyers was going to pick Cutter Gauthier where he was, and hey, look at that, they picked Cutter Gauthier. So, good for the Flyers. Moving on to the Blue Jackets, this was the original pick. They traded Seth Jones to the Blackhawks. They got a first-round pick of last year, this year, 6th overall. Last year, Kent Johnson, which is a great pick. And now this year, 6th overall, which the Blackhawks deeply regret giving that up. And they pick Juracek. Juracek is the second best defenseman on this board. In the draft, Juracek has a great shot from the point, really good slap shot, wrist shot, great playmaker. We can move the puck at the point, really good to have, and the team they're building is gonna be great. The thing is about the Blue Jackets, can they keep the players around? They always notorious of leaving Columbus. You want someone who's gonna stay there long term. You're hoping these guys will stay long term and make this team great, like they used to be. Moving on now to the Blackhawks. Many of the Blackhawks picks, but let's start with the first one. Kevin Korchinski, another defenseman who can really move the puck on that blue line. That's a little high for Korchinski, but hey, there you go. The Blackhawks get Korchinski. They are a rebuilding team. They get rid of Kirby Dach. They get rid of Alex DeBrincat, which Alex DeBrincat, a 40-goal scorer, and very hard to find, but they traded for the 7th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. But the 7th overall pick was Ottawa's. Now it's the Blackhawks, and Korchinski goes to the Blackhawks. A little, I would say a little high, like I said. I thought maybe like a Casper or a Savoy could go there instead, but hey, we'll see how that turns out. Moving on to now the Red Wings and Steve Yzerman's always his masterpiece here, what he picks all the time, but he picks Marco Casper, and Marco Casper already played in SHL, which is really good to see already, and he got some points there already. Really moved up too, and a center, they really do need a center. They need center, so hey, Casper can be a really good pick for them as they build their team to a contender one day, and they could make the playoffs next year. The Red Wings. Not saying Casper's going to be playing next year. I would be surprised Casper plays next year. I think the Red Wings will really take their time with him for sure. Moving on to Buffalo, they got 2 picks in this draft, but starting off with the first one, Matthew Savoy, and this is a really good pick, entertaining, electric type of guy, will take you out of your seat here. Savoy can score. They already have centers like Thompson and Mittelstadt and guys like that, but you can put him on the wing. He fits perfectly on the wing. So there you go. Savoy is a fantastic pick for the Buffalo Sabres. Moving on to 10th overall, we got the Anaheim Ducks, and they got Minkoff. And the Ducks continue to build the young core and continue to become this foundation, this core they're making between Zegras, Drysdale, McTavish, other guys, definitely. But Minkoff can move the puck at the point. Very talented. I keep saying that, but this guy might have the most talent out of all of them for moving the puck. His shot, really, really good. Minkoff is a really good pick for the Ducks there. On the Coyotes, going on number 11, they actually moved up. This is what the Sharks were originally going to pick. They traded. So the Coyotes take 11th overall, and they give where the Sharks are right now. So there you go. But Geek is a good pick. You have Cooley, Geek starting this, rebuild on the right page here. I really do think they're doing that. And they pick Dylan Gunther last year. So, Geeky, I will say, is a very good pick for them. And so is Cooley, trying to get some of these centers, really build this team for sure. And then you have the Blue Jackets, Matt Koff, I forgot how you say his name, but he's another defenseman. Good picks here by the Blue Jackets. Last year, 2 picks, Sillinger and Ken Johnson, and you have these 2 now. So, good picks by them, for sure. They're definitely making a core. Like I said, hopefully they can keep these guys long term. That's the problem. Not drafting, because Jarmo Kekalainen, he makes some fantastic trades, and he has drafted some fantastic players. He's a great GM. So hopefully the best. Moving on to the Blackhawks, the next pick, Frank Nazar. And Frank Nazar is a fantastic speed. He can actually probably, contend with a lot of the players in the NHL for the speed, blow by defensemen, do all that stuff. And Nazar could be an interesting pick for the Blackhawks. Obviously, this is the first original pick of the Islanders. Montreal acquires it for Alexander Romanov. Romanov goes to the Islanders, and Montreal takes that 13th overall pick, and they move it for Kirby Dach, the 21-year-old. So there you go, and now the Blackhawks pick Frank Nazar. So there you go. A winger, speedy winger. He could become a bust like all these other guys, obviously. But, he's a guy, explosive speed, and can shoot the puck. Really, I thought it was an intriguing player. Hey, there you go. Moving on to now the Jets. They picked McGrody. They pick a center here, some people might have thought they pick a, defenseman, but looking at their team, uncertainty, kind of like the Blue Jackets, kind of, who wants to say Winnipeg, true, but you think Cop, other guys, through the years saying, hey, I want to leave, not saying Cop wanted to leave, but, Laine, Dubois wants to, test free agency in the next couple of years, after just being traded from all the the Blue Jackets. So there you go. But McGrody could be a really interesting one. They need to replenish the prospect pool, and there you go. Moving on to the Canucks, I really like this pick. Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Really good. Already playing in the SHL. He is skinny, but has a great shot. Small, skinny type of guy, but like I said, great shot. Really good. In the next couple of years, I think he'll be a really good addition for the Canucks. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres, the second pick here, Noah Ostlund. He's entertaining type of center. As you see, the Buffalo Sabres pick Savoy and Ostlund. They're adding to the group. Really interesting what they're doing here. Hey, I like it. They're really doing a good job here, for sure. Moving on to now the Nashville Predators, Joakim Kamel has dropped to number 17. We thought maybe top 10, but Kamel has dropped to number 17. This guy has been up and down, has a fantastic shot, one of the best shots in the draft. But hey, interesting one for the Predators, add a guy like this. I thought it was intriguing by the Predators. I was hoping it would drop to number 26, but to Montreal. But hey, I like what they got now. But Kamel, good pick, for sure. Really good pick. Moving on to now the Dallas Stars, a defenseman here, Bichelle. He's one of the best defensemen in this first round. Interesting one, a left defenseman, adding to the defense core they picked, in the history of the Dallas Stars, Thomas Harley and other ones, and they picked some good defensemen. So I believe they found a good gem here, for sure. Moving on to now the Minnesota Wild. This is originally the LA Kings pick for Kevin Fiala. Obviously, Kevin Fiala and the Wild obviously do not have the room. $12 million of absolutely no, of money used up between Zach Parise and Ryan Suter with the buyouts between both of them, which is going to make them suffer for the next couple years, which made them have to trade Fiala and not signing him to the deal that the Los Angeles Kings have done. So, Green is the pick they go for. Interesting one. He could be like a top 9, bottom 6 maybe guy, but he is an interesting one though, adding to the team. But it is a loss for the Wild to lose Fiala, but you get Ogren here for sure. Moving on to the Capitals, this is a very interesting one. Miro Shinnikov, I forgot how you say it. I heard it, and now I can't remember how you say his name. But I know how he had cancer, and he's a guy who obviously could have gone in the top 5-10 because of his cancer. Had to take time off and all that. He has dropped, but he has tremendous talent, and I'm glad the Capitals picked him because they're the type of team that, they're an older team. They don't have much in the prospect pool. They do have McMichael and Lapierre and guys like that, but they have a team that they can take a chance on a guy like this. And if it works out, fantastic. If it doesn't, hey, they're not in the rebuild yet. So that's why I thought it was a great pick between the Capitals or the Penguins or even like the Blues or something like that. I thought it would be a good pick for them. So there you go. Moving on to now the Penguins. They pick Owen Pickering, who's a solid defenseman, a shutdown guy. Good pick up here by the Penguins. I like it. It's a solid one for sure. Moving on to the Ducks, they pick Gauthier. So you have Minkov and Gauthier. You got a forward and a defenseman. Gauthier can score, adding to the forward depth, which is really cool to see. This is obviously where the Bruins gave the pickup to the Ducks for Lindholm. So nice move. Moving on to now the Blues. They picked up an interesting forward here, Snuggerug. Snuggerug there. Really good pick. He could be, has a good shot, good playmaker, really interesting. But hey, they added another really good prospect. The Blues have always added some good prospects as they've been winning, between Kyrou Thompson, Jake Neighbors, Snuggerug is a good one. So there you go. Moving on now to the Minnesota Wild. They pick Yorov, and Yorov has dropped, and I don't think you have dropped because he's Russian too. Because you might be like, hey, is he gonna play in the NHL at all? But the Wild want to take a chance here, and he has tremendous talent. He has the talent, absolutely, to score and play make, and that could be a really good steal at where they got him. So hey, look at that, nice pickup there. Moving on now to the Blackhawks, they pick Winzel, and Winzel's a defenseman. They pick 2 defensemen here, and a forward obviously too. But Winzel, good pick where they got him, very good, like it. Moving on to Montreal, number 26 here, they pick Philip Missar, and Missar is a small, he's kind of like Marty St. Louis type of height. Plays center or the wing. Not the best defensively, but that's okay. He's an offensive, dynamic guy who can score, and that's what Montreal wants. And actually, Mazar there is actually Slafovsky's friend there, so they went on vacation, they said, and all that stuff, so it wasn't planned like that. It just worked out that they like Mazar also, and Mazar can be a really good pick. He was supposed to be picked around number 17 projected. They got him at number 26, so that could be an interesting one for sure. Moved on to the Sharks. I didn't really like what the Sharks did here. They moved from number 11 to all the way back here, late, draft. They picked Bicet, who obviously could have been picked in the second round. I thought there was other guys, being like a Howard or something like that, or like a Jack Hughes they could have picked, or they had, other guys out there that, or like Lambert they could have picked. I thought Lambert would be one, but they, we'll see what happens with new GM, Mike Reel. Really interesting. And then you have the Sabres. I don't know much about this guy, Cooley, but he is I believe he is a center. Another pick at center. So, hey, you are building a good foundation now. Good to see. Moving on now to the Coyotes. A lot of people think this is a bad pick, but hey, it's a project. And what are the Coyotes at this time? A project. The team is a project. They're not the Montreal Canadiens who, hey, they have a solid prospect pool. I mean, like the Devils. The Devils picked like Lamoureux there. That would be like, hey, that's not a very good pick there. But because it's the Coyotes, they can take their time with him. Like, I don't know why people don't like that. He got a big deal in Montreal for being drafted. Look at that. Great experience for him. We're on to the Jets, who's someone who was supposed to go top 3 like a year or two ago, and that's Brad Lambeau, a dynamic offensive guy. You give him the space and the time, he will score. There were some of the tournaments he, failed at, but, the Jets getting him where he is, that's a good pick for sure. And moving on, second to last, number 31 on the list here is the Lightning, Isaac Howard. And Isaac Howard is a really cool one. I like Isaac Howard going to the Lightning, a type of guy who, in a couple of years, he could fit right in there when the team is back into, having problems with the cap again. Obviously, right now they are, but Howard could be an interesting one. I think he's really motivated to go there and see what happens. And the Oilers get Schaefer at number 32. He's a good player. I don't know much about Schaefer, but, it is, they moved down because they were where the Coyotes were to take on Zach Cassian's $3.2 million. And now Duncan Keith has retired, so that's, all this kind of cap space. But spend it wisely, Oilers. You got to spend it wisely. Don't mess up this time. Just spending the money and having bad contracts, right? So do it correctly this time. Alright, thank you for watching this NHL News Sports. Like the video and all that, and I'll see you next video. Bye.